This is Urdizzle back with a change of pace based on a couple posts I saw recently. And you'll notice my bag here. We'll go through it and you'll sense a common theme. I've got my accurate windbreak fuse. You all know that is my money disc. Accurate windbreak compass. And the rest of the bag's going to look a little different. And I'm not even going to use all these. The accurate windbreak river. The accurate glide river. The accurate windbreak explorer. The accurate windbreak Saint Pro. Common theme, accurate windbreak Pioneer, accurate glide Pioneer, which is such a pretty disc, the accurate windbreak Musket, and of course the accurate glide Musket. And you'll notice no drivers. So what I've decided to do is actually play arguably the four hardest courses in the game with no drivers. And we're going to see how it goes. So in order, that's Owlwood, Kaho, Coyote Canyon, and Kaho Backwoods. And some may argue that Grizzly is a little harder than Coyote or maybe Kaho Backwoods, but I'm not going with that. So we're going to play these four, and we're going to start with Owlwood. So off the tee, we've got a Musket, accurate glide, and that's going to be doing some heavy lifting since that's my farthest disc. And you are going to notice a common theme here so that's from 82 feet. If you're going to go no driver, or those of you that don't have drivers, you have got to learn to throw in. You've got to practice those discs. That's why I kind of like that you don't get ballistas early on, because it kind of forces you to work on your short game, which is an absolute lifesaver. All right, so hole 2. Now you'll watch here, I'm aiming really, really, really high. This is kind of a little trick you can do is aim high, and then when it lands, it kind of pancakes on the ground, and you get a little less slide. So that's a little trick you can do if you don't want it to skip too far. And again, I'm trying to play aggressive, but I'm also not trying to be stupid about running and possibly ending up in the water. Hole 3, we're going accurate windbreak fuse. And you'll notice over the four courses that I play here that I do not use all these discs. And I could probably get away with that, probably using 4 discs. Fuse, river, musket, maybe 5. I'd probably like the Pioneer in there. But you give me 5 discs and I can tackle these courses no problem. I won't be able to shoot quite the same scores, but I can either get 3 stars or pretty close. So this is an example where I will use a Pioneer with a right to left wind of 3. You kind of want to use something that's a little more overstable. And so the Pioneer is a little beefier than the Musket as far as stability, and leaves me 51 feet. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know I will putt out to about 60, 65, depending on the wind. Usually pretty accurate. All right, this is going to be a tough birdie to get, but I think if we can throw the accurate glide Musket through there, no branches, and then a good skip, we could probably get in putt. Oh, that's a really good skip. I don't know if we're quite in putting range. 62. So this proves my point right here. Will I putt it? Absolutely. And I like putting this because with a wind of 3, you never know what it's going to do. That's a little hard to read sometimes. So putt. All right, that's actually one I didn't think I was going to get. So now that I've got that, I may be able to get, it kind of depends on what's coming up here, but I may be able to get 3 stars. But there's a couple that's kind of fortunate. There's a couple tough holes coming up. That was supposed to go around the right of that tree, but hey, we'll take it. We will take it. All the bad breaks I've gotten over the rounds, I'm due for a few good breaks. All right, this is one I was worried about. So I'm just going to play low right with a Pioneer. And this one I'm going to use the accurate glide and hope to get a little turn, hopefully inside that tree. Is not, oh, it hits the tree. I want to go inside that. Let's see how close we are. 83. And so again, that is throw-in range. And yet again, that's 2 throw-ins now from outside 80 feet. I kind of want to keep track of those to give people an idea of like what you have to do. Now this one's going to be an extremely tough birdie. I'm going to try to get out all the way up there by the one tree. And that's good skip, but that is quite a ways out. And there are a couple gaps through those. I'm just not sure which one I want to throw through. And no matter what I choose here, this is going to be tight. So we're going to go Musket on a forehand, squeak through. Oh, buddy, yes. That was close. And I am going to get a birdie. This is no gimme birdie when you have drivers. So the fact that I can go Musket and still get the putt. Oh, I still got this guy. Now, I don't know if I can clear the wall. Okay, so I got a good wind. If that's a wind, like a headwind of 3, I probably won't be able to clear it. We're going to go Musket, and I think that's going to do it. Get over that wall. Yes. And that is a 9 under. So there is 3 stars on Owlwood with no drivers. So any of you complaining about drivers not getting your ballistas, not only was that 3 stars, that actually was 3 stars by a stroke to spare. So you can absolutely do it. All right, Kaho Park. Now, I will be perfectly honest with you before I start this round. There is probably no chance of getting 3 stars on this. There's just too many long holes on this. I'm hoping to get like a 6 or 7 under maybe. And it kind of depends on the wind. If I get bad winds, it's just going to be rough. So here that is a tight squeeze between those 2 trees, but I think I can get it. Bam. So scramble mode enabled, being able to adjust your stance, that's huge. All right. Now this one, if I can get a birdie out of it, I will be happy, because obviously I'm not throwing any rollers, which, by the way, that's one thing too with my bag. I did not try to game the system. I didn't try to throw in any skip discs. I didn't try to throw in any roller discs to do anything fancy that I wouldn't normally do. It's just plain old accurate glide and accurate windbreak discs. So there is no hole here. I think the gap probably over here to the right is the biggest. So we're going to aim that way and punch it through. And I made it. I absolutely freaking made it. Hell yes. So actually, I was going to be happy with the birdie, but now I've got an 87-foot shot for eagle. Oh, what a waste. What a waste. Ugh. That is a tricky throw-in, though, because it was 87 feet into a headwind, but that's also elevated from where I was throwing from. But that very easily could have been an eagle. All right, hole 3. Got here. That's just my accurate glide. Musket, very nice. And wow, I thought that was pretty good, but that almost slid down into the sand trap. That would not have been good. All right, pretty solid start, 3 for 3. That leads us into this awful hole. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even have birdie in my mind. This is musket, fuse, or some disc I'm going to throw, and there's no way I'm going to try. I mean, again, you could try to game the system and throw some weird roller disc. I'm not doing that. I'm just playing it safe, so I'm going to throw a 4-hand fuse and leave it short. And that'll work. Again, I could probably go a little further, but 259. We're going to go ahead and throw a river. I could maybe get a fuse up there, but we're just going to go river to make sure we get up and over. And it's just got to slow down. And that fuse is not going to skip long like some of the faster discs. And there we go. I am completely content with the birdie there. So I'm only 1 stroke off an ideal start. Again, I could have had that eagle on hole 2. But now the winds have picked up. If anybody's noticed in the newer updates, the 1.015 update. Oh no, that's a bad shot. That is that is an awful mistake. Because that is a tough throw, and I missed that one. Yep. So that is definitely one I should have had. But they've kicked the wind up. This hole, you used to never get anything other than a 1 or 2 wind on it. Somebody on Facebook had posted about that. I forget who that was, but yeah, that the winds have picked up significantly on that hole. Never used to get 3 winds. But oh well, shake it off, go to the next hole. Hole 6. This should just be musket. So this, I guess what you can get out of this is if you need to play it safe. So let's say you're playing a pro tour or multiplayer and you know you've got a lead, or you're happy with where you are and you need to play it safe. You realize you don't have to throw drivers. You don't need a recoil or a havoc or a ballista pro. You can just throw fairway drivers and get just as good a score and probably a lot safer. All right, this is another one, hole 7, that I understand there's no way I'm getting 2 muskets 943 feet. So I'm going to go musket, and then we'll kind of see where we're at after shot 2. I want to make sure I don't go in this sand trap coming up here, because that's an easy mistake to make. All right, so we cleared that. We've got the tree in the way. And this is one where it's slightly uphill. I have a tendency to kind of overdo this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disc up a little bit. And that's probably way too much. I probably could have thrown my Explorer to do that, but just to be safe, get it over there. And that's the one thing I know, if I'm up the hill a little bit here, it's not going to be too far. But like, even though I overshot it way too far, I'm still only 49 feet away. So as long as you're comfortable putting downhill, it's not too bad. And then we're back to the regular hole. So these are the discs I normally use. So this is not anything different from what I normally do. I've got my Explorer. So the Accurate Wind Explorer just clears that. And a lot of times the grass will just eat that up and leave me with a nice putt. Yeah, 46 feet. Usually if I do it correctly, I'm within 60, which means for me, I'm always putting. Not an issue. And then hole 9, I know a lot of people, I still don't understand why people throw drivers on this. Just throw a musket, especially if I think the people that throw drivers have to overcompensate because their throw-in game is kind of weak. And so here, if you just throw a musket, yeah, you're not parked, you're 73 feet, but let's be honest, if your throw-in game is strong, and that was a little off, but I still made it, you don't have to risk missing the Mando and then pretty much getting a guaranteed bogey. So 7 under, and honestly, that very easily could have been 9 under without too much. I mean, make the eagle putt on the hole 2 and then don't mess up hole 5, and we're set. All right, so we transition over to Coyote. And this is also one where there's going to be a couple holes that are just not going to be doable for me unless I get some crazy shot. So hole 1, we're throwing the Accurate Windbreak Musket. Pretty easy. Hole 2, now this is one that is extremely tricky because I would normally go up over the top. And I'm throwing my Accurate Wind Musket instead of the Glide because you actually don't want to carry too far. Like right here, if you carry... Oh, wow, that is perfect. You carry any further than that, and then you bring those right rock formations into play. So here, I think I can get this one in the tunnel. So we're going to go Accurate Glide. And that is a poor shot. And that is a fortunate kick. I did not deserve to get a shot on that one. But I've already had several throw-ins, 113 feet. That is money. So there's the birdie. I'm really happy with the birdie on that one. Now this is one that's very easy to play safe. Again, I'm going Accurate Glide Musket, which is just, this is why you need to have it in your bag. It's just such a workhorse, and it can cover up so many mistakes, and if you want to play it safe, it still gives you some reasonable distance. So I'm going to play it wide here, and I'm 311 out. I can probably go either my Accurate Wind or my Accurate Glide Musket, but again, you can eagle that one with a throw-in, but you got the backdrop there. It's going to hit the wall and kick back. Pretty easy birdie to get if you really want it, but doable if you want to get really hyper aggressive on that. So far so good. I like it. Hole 4, I always throw a musket here. I never throw a driver. I say this in my 12 course video walkthrough when I play this course, which turned out to be a pretty good round. I discuss how it's just, you want the accurate disc to get through that gap where you want it. I mean, you're not going to ace it with a musket, so 48 feet. You're not going to ace it, but you're also probably not going to be OB. You're not going to get any weird kicks to the left. It's just, it is what it is. All right, hole 5. This is normally an eagle hole, but obviously there's no way I'm going to be able to reach that. So I'm going to throw my musket. And again, this is the power of the musket. It's a 10-speed disc. And yes, it's downhill, but right there, you got a disc that just went 466 feet, which leaves me with a very, very easy shot. Now, my goal here is I don't want to be left and I don't want to be short. I want to be right, because that's the right side is where the rocks are the shortest, and it's the basket's right on that edge. So right here, all you got to do is aim a little higher if you're on the side, and boom, easy putt. I mean, that is a super easy putt as long as you're accurate with your fuse. And then hole 6, this is my normal setup. I throw my my accurate glide musket on a slight turnover, and I just let it glide down there. And you'll get a nice little skip, and anywhere around that tree, you'll be within 30 feet. Yeah, I mean, it's such an easy shot. The backhand is much riskier, and you don't really need that extra distance. It's just not necessary. Now, hole 7, there's no way I'm birdieing this one by getting across. Not with these. So I've actually messed around with this in the past before, and I know that most discs going downhill are going to be too far. I've actually thrown OB right, trying to play it safe with a musket. So I'm just going to play my fuse to the middle here. And 247, this is a range where I throw my river. There are several other holes that are around this range. This is downhill, so it's kind of hard to judge the height on it, which is why that's dead center. So right there, just like I said, it's hard to judge the height. But that was dead on. I'll take a par on that one. That's definitely not an easy one to get. This one, on the other hand, is just throw a nice, easy river over there, skips off the rocks, give yourself 20 feet, sometimes 30 or more, but easy putt. All right, leads us into hole 9, the par 4. And again, this is one where I know I'm going to par it unless I need a perfect drive, a near perfect second shot, and then a throw in from 200, give or take. All right, so that's a pretty solid drive. So now I'm probably going to have to throw I'm going to have to throw a Pioneer around the corner here. I could throw a Musket to get more distance, but I don't want to be tucked back up to the right there. So I'm going to put this on hyzer, keep going, keep going. There you go. You just want to make sure to get through the gap. And that's pretty wide open, usually 200, 197. So I'm going to throw, probably aim a little. I'm actually using one of the Harrowing Woods holes. Oh, dead on, man. That's 2 of them. I had the line correct. I just didn't have the distance. There's a Harrowing hole that I have that I've got the distance like 200, 205, where I kind of know where to aim that fuse. But so solid, 7 under. Again, no drivers, 7 under. Throw a driver in there and change 1 or 2 holes, and you got yourself your 3 stars. Which leads us into our final course, Kaho Backwoods, and I'm really liking this course. It's got some narrow fairways, but I think all the fairways, even though they're tight, they're very fair. I enjoy it. It's just developers doing a good job with this game. I love the recent courses. All right, so hole 1, just threw my forehand musket, left myself 53 uphill. Pretty easy birdie. I shouldn't say easy birdie because you got to really position that correctly. But that wasn't too bad there. Hole 2, the par 4. I'm going to say this is a pretty easy one. Not a lot of score separation if you're playing it safe. It's just play it out here. I'm going to throw my accurate glide river, which I haven't thrown. And I usually leave it a little short, but I don't mind bumping up there. I mean, that's tapping. Yep. So even if you go a little shorter, it's usually within 50 feet, if you can get it kind of on the edge of that plateau. This is one of the harder holes, though. I have a lot of problems with this without a driver. Skip, skip, skip. I need a lot of skip. That is not going to work. Not going to work. All right, 141. That's outside. That's outside my normal throwing range, so I'm going to go backhand or forehand fuse. Yes, I'm telling you, that I keep harping on that in every single video. If you just practice the throw-ins, the next tier, a lot of people practice those 80 to 100 foot throw-ins. The next tier is that 110, 120, 140, 160 range. When you can start making those, obviously not as often as you make the shorter ones, but start popping those in, those are the difference makers. All right, my first drive here on the par 5 didn't quite get far enough, and I usually like the wide go around the good the wide right route, but I don't particularly like that, having to go over the water with a musket, because I haven't really tried that, and so I don't know if I have enough distance. But right here, I'm 214. I'm going to go ahead and swing it around this way with the forehand compass. And that compass is a little more overstable. Yeah, perfect. That's all you got to do. There was also a route to the right there I could have done, but obviously there's nothing wrong with that if I'm within 22 feet. Got the birdie. So we're 4 for 4. Which leads us into this guy. And this one, I normally throw a musket on this anyways. So this is no different for what I throw in a normal round. And it lands short here, but it loves to skip. And again, people try to park this hole. So they bump up to a recoil or some other disc, a ballista power down. Like, stop trying to park them. Just get yourself within 50 feet. And if you're a 1,000 rated player, you should be able to make 50-foot putts without too much difficulty. And so that's all I do is play that. All right, hole 6, played up over the wall, and this one's a little sketchy with the musket. Oh, come on, tree. Seriously, dude? So that gave me a 92-footer, which, let's see if we can hit that one. Again, so I'll stop. I think you guys get the point. Throw-ins are the key. You want to get to that next tier, throw-ins. I'll stop. That's it. All right, hole 7, I normally throw like a recoil. I've actually been, okay, skip off the hill. Oh, that was bad too, man. Now right there you saw it. I actually had to cut out a part because I got a text message that I didn't want to put on video. So I had to cut out about 2 seconds there, but it was the same location. Didn't need to see what someone had sent me. All right, but I've actually been messing around with a skip disc on that last hole. All right, this one is a tough one. Tough, 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 tough. Because it is a par 4, but it's a longer one. And so you're way back here now. Yeah, that's a tricky spot to be in. So what I have to do is try to play this low and skip it off the hill there. And luckily, once you get over that hill, it kind of goes downhill. And there we go. Putting range, 47 feet. And even if it's within 60, I felt like I could putt that because it's downhill. And we're killing it now. That's all birdies. And I think if I play this one smart, this should be a pretty, since it's a par 4, it should be a pretty easy birdie. I think I can finish with all birdies on this course. Punch it through. Yeah, we're good to go. I just got to be careful because there's sometimes trees in the way. Yeah, so right here, I'm just going to play this one safe. The only gap I have is out to the right. So we're going to play a compass and just do a nice, easy touch shot. Get around there. Perfect. Easy peasy. And there you go. So there are what I consider the 4 hardest courses in the game with nothing higher than a Musket. So it goes to show those of you that are begging for ballistas and recoils and havocs, you don't need them. So hopefully you enjoyed.